Hey, it's Chi from Chi Period, and this is another video that I've been guided to do. Okay, basically my higher self is just bringing me topics. I'm just going to be punching them out, okay, for you guys to learn more. Okay, before I get stuck into this one, just going to mention some current energies. Okay, I woke up to sexual misery timelines and sexual experiments. Okay, it's really lovely first thing in the morning at what, 6 a.m. I believe. Anyway, basically what I was feeling in my lower regions was things being pulled out of me, tubes being inserted, things like that. Basically feeling things happening with my, thank you, ovary areas. Ovarian? My ovaries, we'll just say my ovaries. Things happening with the ovaries. They have to show me what's actually being done to the ovaries. Okay. Okay, so basically part of that timeline, okay, was, I've mentioned before, the baby factory timeline, okay, timelines. Basically, it's where feminines were in a factory, being impregnated, then giving birth, going off to recover for a little bit, and then come back and go through that whole process again of being impregnated, pregnancy, and giving birth, back around in that cycle. And some of the birthing procedures were not humane, I guess would be the word, right? Just, yeah, like really rough, really, and please excuse any graphic detail that I do go into now. But I have to say it because this is what you're feeling. This is what I'm picking up that you are experiencing, okay, in order to clear these timelines. Basically, some of you would have felt yourself pregnant, okay. I have been feeling that in the last couple of days. That's getting really tiring, but is what it is. But, you know, just in regards to other pregnancy stuff that we've had to deal with previously. But anyway, you would have felt yourself pregnant and felt a baby moving around. And then you'd feel the birthing process, however which way that occurred, okay? I've been feeling like babies being pulled out of me, basically, down there. So, unfortunately, this is the stuff that you'll be feeling, okay? If I felt it, some of you are feeling it, okay, basically. The other thing I need to mention with that also is that us first wavers have done a lot of clearing with all of these energies, basically, and all of these timelines that are coming through. We've done a shit ton of clearing, okay, in order to create those safe hubs for each timeline that does present that you do have to clear for. And it's within these safe hubs, as I've said before, from second wavers onwards to humanity and all the rest of it. As you guys go through your ascension processes, you will hit the safe hubs. And basically what that means for you is you will not feel those energies as extreme as what we did, okay? We have gone through the most extreme of all those energies from all those timelines and all of it in order to create those safe hubs, okay? So that everybody else has an easier time and gets through their ascension processes a little bit easier and a little bit less painful as well. So if for some of you you're feeling a lot of pain with it, please rest assured that it could be so much worse, okay? At the very least, just, you know, keep that in mind as well, because you are actually going through the safe hubs as you hit these timelines, okay? So, yeah, I mean, it's bullshit, but it is what it is. And these timelines do have to be cleared so that they can drop and be done with, okay? Excuse me. Okay, other things this morning, still feeling the fires, okay? I'm still on fire. My hands, my feet, my body, okay, the witchcraft and all that shit, those timelines are still playing out a little bit, okay? I do have to say, for any of you who are practicing any kind of witchcraft, please stop, okay? Because you're literally continually burning your fellow angelics, okay? Because if I'm picking up on it, if I'm still feeling the fires and getting burnt, and especially at the feet and upwards, okay, because of the burning at the stake situations, if I'm still feeling that, it means angelics are still feeling it, okay? And it means also that people are keeping that timeline open by doing bullshit and things that they shouldn't be doing, okay? Just don't do it, please, okay? We're trying to clear this shit out so that nobody else has to feel like they're on fire, basically, okay? We don't want to continue that shit. Nobody should have to feel like that, okay? All right, other energies, basically the hands are still continuing, okay, with it being bound and the circulation being cut, and then feeling like your hands dropping off, okay? That's the eventual point of that process, okay, as I've mentioned before. Excuse me. But yeah, so that's about it. Oh, why do I have to mention that? They want me to go back to the whole ovary situation. Okay, so basically the visual they gave me was needles going into the ovaries and pulling out eggs, okay, in order to do the whole, what is it called? Pregnancy thing. However it is done and then inserted in there. I don't know. I mean, like, things get very technical with scientists doing stupid things that they shouldn't be doing, basically. Yeah, they're just showing me basically like a petri dish, and you know, the eggs in there, and they put in sperm and they create the cell of a baby, and then they insert that into the woman or the feminine. Yeah, that way. Ugh, like that's just, it's horrific. It is. Oh, okay, thank you. It's because to remove or to bypass, thank you, to bypass the whole sex side of making babies, scientists were actually just creating the cell of a child in a petri dish and then inserting that into feminines within this baby factory, okay? Alright, I just don't want to say anymore. I just want to detach from that. But yeah, that's what I've been feeling in my ovaries, basically, is that my eggs being pulled out and taken off for that purpose, okay? Okay. Excuse me. Now, with the soul core wounds video, I did forget one, and I've probably forgotten a few others. I'm sure I have. But yeah, one of the other soul core wounds that comes up for each human in their lives, not always, but sometimes, okay? As I've said before, your soul would have chosen to put it into the soul contract for your life, for your human's life, okay? Excuse me. Addiction, okay? It is a doozy, it is a big one, okay? And addiction presents in many different ways, okay? Right, now we're just going to run through the list of addictions. Okay, drugs, alcohol, sex addictions, which again with sex addiction can also be related to sexual misery, okay? and worthiness. Thank you. And really all of it could probably really be related to worthiness on some level. Okay. Shopping addiction, even pharmaceutical medications addiction. Okay, when you're just constantly taking medication just because for the slightest thing that you feel in your body, okay, I'm going to take something. Okay, that kind of thing. Every time something happens. And of course, you know, the gambling addictions and things like that. You know, and that's a whole different range right there, with betting on horses and like horse racing, dog racing, all that shit, and you know, going to the casino and poker machines and you know, playing what is it called? Card games and all that stuff, okay? Yeah. And look, addiction presents in so many ways, and look, within our society we see it with even, you know, people who have enough money to go off and do plastic surgery, and they're constantly doing more, okay? Again, that is a worthiness issue right there. You know, yeah, all sorts. I did mention drugs and alcohol, didn't I? Or maybe I didn't, I don't know. I literally forget things as soon as I said it, so I do apologise. Excuse me. Yeah, addiction presents in so many ways in your life, with things that you do. And look, even for some people, it's as simple as constantly cleaning their house, you know. And this is partly where OCD comes in a little bit as well. It's like you constantly have to, because you just, you know, there's something in your brain that's, you know, switched, and you just feel like you constantly need to, okay? The other thing I need to mention with these soul core wounds as well, sometimes you will not actually do these things particularly. Sometimes you may not have an addiction. Your soul's decided your human's not going to have an addiction. Your soul decides that your human will be surrounded by people who have addictions. Okay, and this is where, thank you, temptation comes in, where there'll be that question if you'll be tempted to go off and do that, or no, you know what, I don't want anything to do with that. Okay. That's also another way that these soul core wounds can be presented in your life, is that you don't actually have to physically go through those experiences. You will witness it around you. Okay. Excuse me. So we're just basically going to do a case study of Che's life for these videos. Is what it is. And to be perfectly honest, you know, I can only really speak from experience, because I've been through so much shit, okay? And that's probably, they're saying yes. That's why I'm in this position to talk about this stuff with you, because I've basically been through all this shit and had to deal with it all in so many different ways. But yeah, in regards to addiction, for myself personally speaking, I was basically born into the family situation with addiction. I've had to deal with my alcoholic mother, bless her soul. And look, and my dad, I guess you could say, yeah, to whatever degree, had an alcoholic issue as well. And, you know, at some point as well, so did I. You know, I did fall into that temptation. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm perfect and I've never done anything wrong in my life. That I'm far from it. basically I have had to experience certain things in order to remove them, okay, to confront them and release them from my light body, my human self, and my physical reality, okay. Yeah, so, you know, alcohol's kind of always been a constant. It's not that I was always getting drunk and shit like that. It's just that it's always been there in some way, shape or form through my life as well. As I mentioned earlier in another video about my emotional eating, sometimes drinking was another way for me to deal with shit as well. So I would have a drink or a couple, things like that. You know, and look, as for drugs, I never really dabbled too much in the more harsher drugs. You know, I've done the whole weed thing for quite quite some time in my life, and that was, for myself, that was okay, because, you know, that's from earth. You know, it's more of a natural drug, I guess, in that sense. So I guess that was my justification for it. So so yeah, you know, that was somewhere in there. I did both at the same time, and, you know, things like that. And excuse me, but I had a point. How old was I? Thank you. I was about 19 years old, and I was starting my hairdressing career more officially. I'd been hairdressing for a couple of years prior to that year, but I was starting my hairdressing career as such, doing my pre-apprenticeship course, and then getting a job out of that, and then doing my apprenticeship. And basically it was around that time that I did kind of feel like a bit of a loose cannon, with with drugs, alcohol, with weed really, alcohol, and you know, just generally my life just felt like it was spinning out of control. And you know, in that time I did also hit depression in a really huge way too. And it was because of my depression that I decided I'm not going to do either of those things. I'm just going to get creative. I'm going to, you know, work that shit out of me, you know, which is incredibly mature and pretty cool to be in that mentality at that time, to realize that the best way for me to actually deal with that was to do my paintings and my sketches and my poetry and my writing and everything like that, being creative and really just getting that energy out of me, okay? And I guarantee you it helped so much, and it really got me through. And then around the time that I got my job as an apprentice was when I was really starting to come out of it, yeah. And I still carried on, continued not drinking and not doing drugs or anything like that. I just stayed strong with my job and being creative on the outside of work in the little time I had, because I was so busy with work. Excuse me. You know, being a hairdressing apprentice, they push you and they push you. So I basically gave myself 2 years. I didn't specifically say that, or, you know, put that time limit on it or anything. I just didn't want to drink or do anything else for a while, and I just felt like I needed to get my body clear. And yeah, thank you. This was also around the time that I started going off to meditation classes and really starting to get myself out of that really shit really shit state that I fell into. Yeah, and look, it's not to say that alcohol didn't come back around again. Eventually it did, of course. But, you know, I would be more mindful of what I was drinking, and then sometimes I just threw that out the window and I'm just going to get completely shit-faced, basically. And look, you know, my journey with alcohol addiction has been quite interesting, on and off, and you know, I'm happy to say that at this point, if I have a can, it's you know, it's one can or it's two cans, and then I'm ready for bed. Like, it's it's not even, you know, and I don't even go out and party anymore or anything like that. You know, well, I can't because I'm busy doing all this shit. And basically, I have too much going on to even think about partying. But yeah, so look, addiction presents in so many different ways for everybody. Okay, it could be anything, literally anything, that you just feel like you continually need to keep doing. Okay, thank you. They're just saying, for some of you, it even presents in, you know, what you watch, like watching TV. You're addicted to TV shows and things like that. YouTube even, and they're also mentioning tarot readings for some people. Okay, you're addicted to them, so you're constantly watching them, constantly watching either your favorite readers or constantly finding new readers as well. Yeah, so it presents in many different ways, and look, all of these things you need to work through, and you need to teach your human self moderation, and even to the point of, you know what, I'm just going to have a break. I'm going to have a break. I'm going to stop doing that for however long, and then, you know, say you give yourself a year, you're not going to do whatever. You know, with the really strong addictions, the really big ones, take baby steps. But, you know, like, stop for a week, stop for a month, stop for a couple of months, you know, things like that. But, excuse me, usually what you'll find after having stopped an addiction for a long period of time, if you decide to take it up again, there's a part of you, and it's usually your soul, okay? There is a part of you that will kind of kick in and really kind of have you question if you should do that, okay? Always. Because the moment that you nip the addiction in the bud, okay, your soul is like jumping for joy. It absolutely is. Absolutely. Because they're like, yay. They're they're confronting this head on, and they're dealing with it, and they're working through it and getting through it and letting it go. Okay? So whenever the next point comes up that there is a question of whether you will or whether you won't, temptation, your soul's going to kick in and, how are we putting it, assist your human to analyze that choice in one way or another. Okay, it could be many reasons. Your soul will be feeding you all these different reasons. Should you do it? Because, you know, if you do, this might happen, and if you don't, that might happen, and things like that. You know, addiction's quite a big one for a lot of people, a lot of humans, okay? A lot of souls have put this into their soul contract for their humans to deal with. And even when, and thank you, even when you've nipped your addiction in the bud and you're no longer doing it and you're never going to do it again, the temptation, thank you, will present in different ways, okay, in regards to people around you. Okay, they will come in and, you know, we'll take alcohol, for example. They'll come in and they'll offer you a drink, okay, and you say no. Okay, that's good. You've accomplished that. Okay, so the next time round, because you'll be tested again and again and again with all of this stuff, okay, the next time round, someone will come in and they will just buy you that drink, and you know, due to courtesy, do you accept this drink or not? Okay, do you accept it for the sake of courtesy, you know, or do you just kindly, graciously say no, no thank you? Okay, either way, excuse me. And that's through your life, your human life. And then when you hit the fast track portion of your ascension process, if that was one of your things that you had to work through, and you got through it, however which way you did, through the fast track portion of your ascension process, as I've said before, is when the tests really come in, okay? And it depends on whatever it is that your soul contracted to, whatever abilities, okay, particularly with clairsentience. I know I mention it a lot, but because that's one of my main things, as I've said before, you know, that becomes a massive test, absolutely, because do you know what? I'm feeling all this shit, I'm just going to go have a drink so I can numb my senses and not have to feel anything, you know, and I can speak on that because that's what I did. That's what I did, because I was just feeling insane because the energies were so freaking extreme, and I'm like, I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel any of this. I want to go have myself a drink. For a time, it works. It numbs the senses, but only because your soul allows it. Okay? And then after a while, when your soul sees your human is just abusing that, your soul decides, you know what, I'm allowing my little human to have a drink and to get drunk and numb their senses. I need my human to feel this shit so that they can clear this shit. So what your soul then does is basically throws that out the window. So while you've had a drink and you've had a few drinks, and to the point that you know that you're usually numb, you've numbed the senses and you're not going to feel anything, your soul decides, you know what, you're going to feel shit now. Yeah, and you get to a point where you start to realize, on a human level, you start to realize, shit, that's not numbing anything. I'm still feeling everything, okay? And then it kind of brings it home that it's pointless. It's pointless because whatever your soul wants your human to feel and experience is going to happen anyway, okay? And in the same way, I guess the addiction will be nipped in the bud, because then you're just like, well, I can't do that because it's not even gonna, you know, maybe I'll just have a drink just to like wind down and that's it, you know. Because I'm gonna feel shit anyway. Yeah, so it's up to what your soul wants you to do and experience and feel and all the rest of it. And look, you know, addictions are quite full on in their own ways. Thank you. Another addiction that I was never a part of, I didn't feed because I just never agreed with it. It presented itself in other ways through my life, okay? And I'm talking about gambling addiction, okay? I don't agree with it. I just, no, it doesn't need to be done. But, you know, each to their own, and whatever it is that they need to work through their human lives, okay, in order to clear those energies, all right? Yeah, I mean, look, with the gambling addiction, it presented through my mother and through my dad in his own way, but it wasn't as bad with my dad, I guess, but definitely my mother, okay? The gambling addiction was rife with her for as long as I'd known, really. Excuse me. And if that wasn't enough for me to witness as a child growing up and becoming a young adult and everything, if that wasn't enough for myself, my human self, to witness, I was then brought a partner, a karmic, who had a very, very bad gambling addiction. Because why not? and look, you know, unfortunately, because of my stance with that, and this is how I stay true to myself, because of my stance with the gambling addiction, I ended up leaving that karmic because of that, okay? Because I will not put up with that. And especially by that point, we had a child, you know. Thank you. My soul had contracted that that would be my breaking point with that relationship, with that karmic relationship, because of the fact that I stood wholeheartedly behind that belief that it's unacceptable, okay? And especially when you're starting a family and things like that, you don't want to be in debt to whatever because of your gambling shit, and you still got, you know, children and partners to take care of, you know. Yeah, I mean, look, with that situation, I ended that karmic relationship because of that. And then what followed within a few days after ending that relationship was a nice little letter coming in the mail, and that was an eviction notice, okay, because I entrusted that karmic to take care of the rent, and they weren't taking care of the rent. They were off gambling, you know. And then I ended the relationship, and then that's the notification I received after that. So excuse me. So I put it on that person, on that karmic, to go and sort that shit out and take care of it, because I'm not going to be homeless with my child. Okay? No, not like that. That's just bullshit. Yeah, anyway, so they sorted that out, and then they soon moved out from our house and all the rest of it. But yeah, it was definitely an addiction that I wasn't going to feed, you know. That's not to say that I haven't put in $10 in a poker machine somewhere here and there over the years, and it's literally been like a handful of times if I've ever done it. But every time I did it, I would feel sick. I would feel literally, because of my abilities are on, I would feel the illness, the inside me, okay, that heaviness. And thank you. And because, look, that's another thing where my abilities came in as well. Whenever I was in those gambling areas, I would feel it. I would feel all those energies, really heavy, really dense, addiction energies. And it was just, these people, it's like they've switched off and part of themselves and gone into these gambling areas, and that's what they're doing. And they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it because of their addiction, you know. And it's disturbing, but it is what it is. And, you know, we are working to clear all this shit as well. But yeah, 33, 31 and 33. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, I could sit here and go on and on about all these different addictions and the effects of them and all that, but I'm pretty sure you guys are well aware of how that can happen. Thank you. They're also mentioning food addiction, okay, for some people. Yeah, absolutely. It is. You know, and I have mentioned my emotional eating before as well. I would just constantly eat, and make myself feel really ugh because of it, you know. And as I said, I do have a fast metabolism, but that's irrelevant when it's an emotional eating situation and I've attached these negative emotions to what I'm eating. And then when I eat, it's almost like I'm eating that energy, you know, like putting it back into my body and allowing it to sit and ferment, and then I feel really heavy and ugh, do you know what I mean? And then at some point your soul's going to be like, you know what, clear the shit out of you. you need to. So your soul will bring about whatever situations to trigger that stuff, as I've said before, and to assist you to clear that stuff, the energies out of you, okay? Yeah, they've given me quite a few topics to discuss. I will get into them in other videos because I need to have a little break. But that's basically it with addiction. I am going to go into the other soul core wounds, as I mentioned, in more detail as well. Just to kind of give you a little bit more of an illustration of what they are and how they present as well in your life. Is there anything else with addiction particularly? Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, the other thing they wanted me to discuss with your soul core wounds, okay, I have mentioned before the dark room in your mind, okay, that dark room, that hallway that you walk down and you put stuff in a box and you go all the way down the hallway and you put it in that last room down the back, right? Put it in that room, you come out and you lock the door in. It's hot tail out of there. Okay, your soul core wounds are basically stuff that you put into that box down there. They are related to those situations, incidents, life events, all that kind of thing that you put in the boxes and you put in that room, okay? And that is some of the stuff that your soul will trigger you to work through and release, okay? In some way, shape or form throughout your fast track portion of your ascension process, okay? And addiction is just as much one of them, okay? If we put it in a box and put it in that room through our human life, through the fast track portion of your ascension process, your soul's gonna be like, you know what, I need this out of here. Here you go. And they'll bring forth a trigger for you to deal with, okay? And you know, confront it, process it, and clear it out of you. And the thing is, guys, I guarantee you, every time you clear any negative energy out of you, you will feel lighter and lighter and lighter, okay? Because basically negative energy brings you down and it makes you feel heavy, okay? For those of you who are clairsentient, you will know what I mean, okay? It does, it makes you feel heavy. But as you do your release work and as you remove all those negative energies, you'll feel lighter and lighter. You will literally, it's like you're climbing up the ladder of light as such, okay? As they're released, you get lighter. Your light body feels lighter, and because your light body feels lighter, so will your human body, okay? As you work through everything through the fast track portion of your ascension process, okay? All right, I will leave it at that. If you guys have any questions or comments or whatever about this video, please, by all means, let me know. And I will discuss it with you. I hope this has helped. You know, as with all videos, I hope they do help you guys to get a better understanding of what's going on with you. And, you know, if any of these things kind of, thank you, if any of these issues that I do mention, if they present for you as well, you know, it's always good to hear back from you about that as well, okay? All right. Okay, guys, I hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves, okay? And, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Sending you all so much love. Mwah. Bye for now.